Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Coming back to my story. I think I left off, no, I did leave off where I was at the Beacon, and I was just going to leave the Beacon to go to Harry Hunter's. But before I go to Harry Hunter's, a few things that had happened at the Beacon I didn't mention before. When we had went on camp at the Beacon at the end of 2015, one of the guys on camp, he was walking past me, and he was walking like slow and calculated, you know, looking really strange, like a zombie. And I thought to myself, he walks a little bit funny. And like I said, this is my realizations part. Now I know that that guy was bullying me. The guy from the Beacon, he was walking past like a zombie. He was fucking bullying me because I was standing there in front of him, and he was walking past acting like a cunt. He was bullying me, walking like a zombie. He's taking the piss out of me. He's trying to call me a zombie because they've been watching me for the last couple of years. Ask him, put him on a lie detector test. And he's the same guy that was at the train station when they set me up with that little girl in a little grey dress and little black boots. He's the guy that looked at me like a proud father I was talking about. Ask him, put him on a lie detector test and see what he's got to say. And when I was at the Beacon, the black guy, Noah, he does music and that there. He's the same guy that was bullying me, that walked in front of me with my walking stick. Because my hip was stuffed, he was walking in my way on purpose. These are guys that work to help people with problems. And these are all the staff from the Beacon or the Salvation Army that are bullying me. Yeah? They bully me. And I haven't done anything wrong. They're supposed to be helping me, but they bully me. They used to have drumming classes there every Friday. And they had a whole nice new set of drums. The whole time I was there, they never had a drumming class once, as far as I remember. And that was because of me. They were bullying me. They didn't have a drumming class because of me. Because they knew I can play the drums. So they didn't want me to shine. Because they felt that if I get some satisfaction out of playing the drums, that's not going to be good enough for them. Because their whole point was to surround me with depression, anxiety, drugs, and crap, basically. So if I got satisfaction out of playing the drums, they won't like it. Anything I get satisfaction out of in my life, they shut me down. So that's why they weren't playing drums at the Beacon. You ask their staff and put them on a lie detector test and see what they got to say. They're the people that help people, and they bully me. Simon, the guy that was driving me to camp in Bustleton, he was driving with his fingers on the steering wheel like this. And I was sitting in the back where I could see him. Now, he was driving with his fingers on the steering wheel like this because I'm sure he was calling me a 2-time rapist. That's why he was driving with his fingers on the steering wheel like this. I'm pretty sure I'm correct. If you put him on a lie detector test, we'll see what he's got to say. Or question him and see what he got to say about it. And when we were driving past the monastic church in Northbridge, he was talking to me about monastic living. Basically, he was saying to me, because they think I'm a 2-time rapist and a pedophile, and they've cock-blocked me from women for the last 6 years, he's basically trying to get me to embrace a monastic living style in a monastery. That's ridiculous, I thought. But now I know that's what he was doing. He was basically saying to me that's what I should be doing, because they've cut me out of society. They've made me a menace to society. They've made me a slave to society, and they've cut me off from women because I'm a rapist and pedophile and this and a pervert. Ask them. Put all that stuff on a lie detector test and ask them. They were all bullying me. This is the Salvation Army. And everybody else in that drug rehab program they put me in, that I didn't even know was a drug rehab program. They were doing this in the system behind my back, manipulating me. Everybody else that came into that program, they done 2 or 3 weeks and they left. They kept me there for 5 weeks. 5 bloody weeks they kept me there, locked up, like a fucking prison cell. Ask them, and ask them why. Everybody came in, and they left, they went to Harry Hunter's. Within 2 or 3 weeks. I stayed there for 5 weeks and got bullied by their staff. And after 5 weeks I finally left, and then I went to Harry Hunter's. So I got to Harry Hunter's. Not a bad place, a lot of land. They got a lake there with ducks. A couple of canoes. They got tractors and lawnmowers. It's a big plot of land. They got a golf course there. I was playing a couple of rounds of golf. And people are looking at me like, what am I doing? And I said to them, well, I've done my jobs for the day, so I'm playing golf. People didn't like me being independent on my own because they all grouping together in groups. But they were trying to make me, they were isolating me. That's why they were all grouping together. But they didn't like my independence because I stand quite independently on my own. So I went there to Harry Hunter's, met Julie, she's a social worker. Now all the ladies are dressing all nice and looking nice and all this. You know what I mean? It's to do with me. Ask them. They'll tell you. Put them on a lie detector test, see what they got to say. Now Julie, the social worker, I was trying to organize my fines elimination. To go to jail to eliminate my fines. Or to organize to pay them off. But anyway, she ended up, the way they manipulate me is through psychology. They're very manipulative people because they deal with people with problems in society and people's psychology, people's psyches, psychologically. So she managed to get, she has got, Julie the social worker, she's got all my passwords for my email address, my gov.gov account and everything. You know what I mean? So she's got access to my email anytime I want, and there's a lot of crap on my email. And I can't change the passwords to my email account because for some reason it's under my brother's name. And I don't know why. Every time I try to change my passwords for my account, it's under my brother's name. I don't know why. I opened that account in 1999 or 2000 with my sister when she came down from America. It had nothing to do with my brother. Now it's under my brother's name. And I've called him up and asked him for a password and he pretends he doesn't know what I'm talking about. And it gives me the shits because that's my personal email address. And I need to change my damn password because everyone's got access to it. But no one's giving a shit enough. Everyone's trying to turn it around on me now because I found out what's going on behind my back. Everyone's trying to make me look like the bad guy or make me feel bad. After I've ripped off everything from my life. Made me broke and homeless. They're trying to make me look like a cunt. I'm just telling people what's happened to me. So she's got all my passwords. There was the same guy from the Beacon there. They do this cookie book thing, you know, where they talk to you but they're not actually looking at you. He said, he was walking and he says, follow me, you'll be alright. And I looked at him and I thought, fuck me. These people are treating me like I've got mental problems, bro. These are all people there for problems. They treated me like I've got mental problems. They've been doing it for years with my mother and all of them there by Brownie Towers. They talk to me without looking at me. They go, yeah, come follow me, bro. Go do it. It's like they think that I must think I'm hearing voices or I must listen to them. You know what I'm saying? It's some fucking cheap bullying tactic for psychological wankers. They all treating me like I'm an idiot. Come follow me, mate. You'll be alright. Who the hell does that? That reminds me of a jail tactic for standing over people. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I just looked at him and I thought, fuck, I don't need to follow you. I don't need to follow anybody, man. Now that I'm here at the fucking Harry Hunter's, my plan in my head, my hip is fucked, right? From the system fucking it up on purpose because of what they said I was. So my state of mind at the moment is, while I'm here, I've got other plans to get on with my life. I'm going to wait for my hip to get better and I'm going to go back to work, get my house, my cars, and carry on with my life. That's what's going on in my head at this time. I didn't know that people had ulterior plans for me. To not go back to work and to fucking live unemployed for the rest of my life. I didn't know this because they say I'm a dog in society. But in my head, I've got plans of going back to work once my hip's better. Everyone else had different motives for me. But anyway, that guy, I thought, stuff you, man. Everybody's trying to embrace me like they're stronger than me or they've got something for me. I'm like, whatever, man. Hell, I've got other things going up here on in my head. I don't need you. To me, you weak. You know what I'm saying? You, yeah, for a program that's for fucking addicts and drug abusers and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm in this program through manipulation. I didn't need to be here. People put me here on purpose because of what they're doing with the system. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't supposed to be in a drug rehab program. I didn't know I'm going to a drug rehab program. They all organized it behind my back. They orchestrated it. Because they've been exploiting me. Anyway. Then while I was there, I was working in the kitchen and that kind of stuff. Now one day I didn't know I was working. I was supposed to be working. And I was sitting in the church, just reading the newspaper. And Froggy and that, he's the maintenance guy there. They were just sitting there watching me. And they didn't say nothing. And then when I was walking around and walked out, they said, "Oh, mate, what are you doing? Why haven't you gone to work? This and that, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Oh, well, I wasn't on the roster. I didn't think I had to work this morning, mate." And he said, "Yeah, well, you're supposed to be in work and this and that." And I thought to myself, but y'all have been standing there watching me the whole time. So it's like they treating me like I'm just deliberately being an asshole. And I thought to myself, why didn't you just tell me, Baden, you rostered on to do the work, mate. Why are you sitting there reading the newspaper? This is how they were treating me. They treated me like I'm trying to deliberately be an asshole. But I don't know what's happening because everybody's got fucking other plans going on around me. Everyone's bullying me. So they're trying to make me feel bad. They're trying to make me feel incompetent. They're trying to make me feel guilty for not showing up to work and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's a reverse psychological thing. That's how they've been playing with me. And they kept changing the rules while I was there. And they're basically trying to make me look like a menace. Like I'm not obeying the rules. They kept changing the rules every day. At one point. 7 times in a day I got busted because they kept changing the rules. And people are coming to me going, "You got done 7 times today." I'm like, yeah, well, fucking, I don't know what I didn't know that the people changed the rules. They were doing it on purpose to bully me. Ask them. Get all the staff and ask them what their plan was with me. Harry Hunters. I'll tell you a little story before I go on about Harry Hunters. When I was in Brownlee Towers, before I even went to the Beacon, there's a song, I forgot to get it on my iPod. It says, "You're 100, we so hunterish. You're 100, we so hunterish." Now people manipulate my music while I'm listening to it, especially while I had a smoke or something, right? And this is what they'll say in the actual song. It says, "You're 100, we saw unto it. You're 100, we saw unto it." That's how they manipulate my music. So that's what I'm actually hearing. That's what they're saying to me through the song. Because I had a smoke and this and that. And even if I didn't have a smoke, that's what they play. They manipulate my music like that because the actual song says, "You're 100, we so hunterish." So while these motherfuckers have hacked my accounts and my iPod, they singing a song to me that says, "You're 100, we saw unto it." That's $100 point of rock. That's what they're saying to me in the music. This is how psychological they are, bro. All my music, they play different words in it. And it's all related to drugs and gangsterism. And being hard. This is how they've been psychologically fucking me over for years. The story I'm telling you now, Harry Hunters, this is the end of 2015. For the last 4 years, they've been doing that kind of shit with me. With the music. Psychologically mind-fucking me. Can you believe that? That's just one example of what they do with the music in my ears and my iPod. And my laptop. The radio. The stereo, everything. We had classes there making jewelry and drawing, art classes. Everyone was fucking bullying me in these art classes. There was a girl there named Rachel. She was also at Harry Hunter's. Hey, and one day she was sitting in there and she's fucking, I'm doing this, I'm making this, I think I was drawing. Hey, and she's talking about my daughter. She's talking about her daughter and her kids, but she's relating to me. Hey, and she's fucking bullying me, eh? She's taking the piss out of me because she knows my personal business. People are telling her to bully me about my daughter that I haven't seen. So everybody's been bullying me about my personal business. How the fuck do you know about my personal business? And she was bullying me, eh? And I fucking, it was hard for me to contain myself because she's bullying me about my daughter. It's powerful stuff, you know what I'm saying? And you're a fucking drug addict sitting here in a program and you fucking bully me about my personal business with my daughter. You know how that made me feel? Fuck, bro, I had to contain myself big time. That was very personal, and I didn't need that in my life from some fucking little bitch with problems. Her name was Rachel. Ask her, she'll tell you. She'll tell you she was bullying me. After that, I didn't speak to her again. I used to speak to her. After that, I didn't speak to her at all. I tried not to because of how offensive she was to me about my personal business with my daughter. And people in the classes, they were taking too long with the pliers to bend the earrings and make stuff. They were all bullying me. They were taking the pliers and keeping it too long. I had to always ask for something and get something from them. I always had to ask like I needed something from someone. This is the game they were playing with me. They always wanted to make me feel like I needed them. You know, like I'm an inferior. This was the system. The Salvation Army making these people act like that, bully me. Because they've been watching me. I realize it's the Salvation Army and that. And the police. Because when I got to the Salvation Army, the Beacon and Harry Hunters, that's where I all started having realizations of people watching me through the fucking TV and everybody knowing my business. Oh. Just before this, when I was at the Salvation Army, there was a psychoanalyst. Is it a psychoanalyst they call him? We had a class with the psychoanalyst. And every time I paid him attention, he'd move his hands and he'd shake his head and do this. This is what people do with me these days though. He was a psychoanalyst, and every time I listened to him or paid him attention, he'd watch me and then he'd emphasize his movements and the expressions on his face, you know, and this and that. He'd look important, you know, so now he wants me to focus on him more. He's a psychoanalyst. He uses psychoanalogy to attract people's attention and look more important than he actually is. Because they think I'm a simple son, you see. So every time I looked at him, I didn't say nothing, but I knew straight away. Every time I looked or paid him attention, he even gave me a wink one time. You alright, mate? Ask him. Ask him, he'll tell you. Put him on a lie detector test. Interrogate him, he'll tell you. I'm right. All of them. Ask them. Because people want to say to me that I'm bullshitting and there's something wrong with me. No, I don't think so. Put them all on a lie detector test. Ask the psychoanalyst. He was psychoanalyzing me. He was trying to make himself, he was emphasizing his movements and his expressions every time I paid him attention. I don't know why. Because they've been watching me smoke and do shit in my room, in my private space. So they playing on my altered state of mind. Now they've watched me in an altered state of mind, and in real life they treating me at the same as if I'm in an altered state of mind. That's still what they do today. Basically treating me like I'm a druggie. They want me stuck in that altered state of mind, of being high. That's what they try to do to me in society. They want me to walk around in society, and they've given me the reality of I'm walking around in a society where I'm viewing the world in an altered state of mind, with an altered state of mind. This is what they've done. They try to keep me in an altered state of mind because of what they say I am and how they've exploited me. It's fucking psychologically ridiculous, bro. I didn't know people are actually allowed to do this and get away with it. Obviously, the Salvation Army being the mental health system, they can do anything they want. They've got more power than the damn police. That's why all these other drug dealers and everybody's been getting away with shit. But I've been shafted. So anyway, that was the story about Rachel. She really pissed me off. Very personal. How the fuck does she know about my personal business with my daughter? They've been given information. They've been orchestrated to bully me based on my personal information, bro. Who's telling them to bully me based on my personal information? That's private. That's an invasion of my fucking privacy and a disregard of my rights.